give them credit. Obviously, great shooting on their part. We need to get better in a lot of areas, probably starting with our transition defense and all the way through, and execute better offensively to take some pressure off our defense. But it was one of those nights. They had a hell of a night. Give them credit. We're going back to Atlanta.
But what kind of was the issue with the three-pointers they were hitting? And did you at any point think about adjusting, or did you adjust how you were defending them from that line?
Well, I think, one of the things that, we'll go back and look at the film, but I think in transition we're not doing a good enough job of, I think probably we need greater urgency. We need a greater understanding of getting to all of their shooters. So I think it starts there. And then in the half court, I think, they're in the paint probably a lot. And so, when you collapse or you get to the paint, people help. They're moving the ball. They're making the extra pass. They're making shots. And then the third piece is, several of them, obviously J.R. Smith, are hitting extremely difficult threes on top of those first two things.
What do you tell your team after a game like this to say, hey, we're still in this?
Yeah, we're going home. We're going to Atlanta. It's one game. They won their two games on their home court. Now we're going home. Now the challenge is on us to have a heck of a night in Atlanta and win Game 3.
Mike, Kenny wrote at WHBC in the back. After a game like this, and they were up 18 in the first game, you came back, but they won by 11. Do you think about any lineup changes, anything to try and spark the team to get you guys back in this?
Yeah, I think we'll look at everything. This is, I think going home is going to be big, but, I think we can't just rely on going home. We will, we'll look at the film to a point and figure out where we can get better and, see what we come up with between now and Game 3.
Coach, over here on your left, you talked about going home and how that will be a benefit, obviously. I know guys play with a lot of pride. Does a game like this bring pride to the forefront? Does it make guys, is it a gut check? Is it guys, you got to have a little bit more pride, I guess?
Well, I think our group is a prideful group, and when you get beat, soundly like we were tonight, I think it does, draw on that pride, and, I think going back to Atlanta, I'm sure we'll come out with the right focus, with the right effort, with the right, pride, if that's the word you want to, if that's the appropriate word.
Chris Parker, Cleveland Scene. Coach, yes, in the first game, you guys did pretty well on the boards. It seemed like in the first half they were hurting you on the boards. Did you think that was a big key, too, in what was going on?
Yeah, it in the first half, there was something we talked about, and I do think that was probably the fourth layer to their threes. When they got a few offensive rebounds and kickouts, and we've got to take care of the boards, take care of everything. There's a lot to take care of, after a game like this.
Mike down here, Ray Jansky, ESPN 990. After such a monster game by Dennis on Monday night, only about 13 minutes tonight, what was the thinking there that you didn't kind of unleash him and hope he could get you going again?
We've had a point guard rotation for the entire season. Jeff Teague and Dennis Schroeder have both been great for us all year. There's some nights when Dennis has big nights, and we'll ride him a little more. Tonight I thought Jeff was playing well, and we basically stuck with our same point guard rotation. And, the second half of the game was, the lead was such that playing Dennis a lot more minutes was not appropriate. And each night's it's a new game. It's new opportunities for Jeff and Dennis, and we'll continue to, read that.
How were they different this year from when you played them last year in the playoffs? Similar results. They swept you last year. They're up 2-0, but how are they different this year?
Well, obviously right now they're shooting it just unbelievably well, whether it be the first round and now these first two games. A healthy Kevin Love gives you another guy that spreads the floor and is able to make threes, create space. I think the way they're playing in transition and the way they're moving the ball. But they were excellent last year. They're they're obviously a team that's put together well, and we're going to have to be very good to change it.
But you started with Paul guarding LeBron. I'm wondering what you thought of that, and did that kind of have ripple effects making a change like that as far as how the rest of the defense and transition defense held up?
Well, I mean, halfway through the first quarter, it seemed like we were in a good, decent spot, and almost, we took them out, I think, with, 4 minutes to go, and it felt like that was when one of the runs happened. And so I thought Paul was, the matchup with him on LeBron was, at least in the first quarter, felt like it was not a problem. In transition, you got to look at it. There's so many things that happen in transition and see if that was something that hurt us. But, for the first 8, minutes for Paul's first run, it was kind of a 16-18, tie game or 2 3-point game.
Mike, they had the 25 threes and 16 twos. Halftime, it was 18 and 6. Where's this game headed in terms of three-point usage, and what's that requiring defensively as you guys, or all teams, have to deal with this evolution on the fly?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously getting a ton of them up, and they're shooting it at a high rate. The thing that, they have a penetrating pitch game that, they kind of pair with the three-point shooting. So I don't think you can just be one. You can't just shoot threes and not do the other things that, require, ball movement and attacking and all those things and playing in transition. So, everybody would like to put together a great three-point shooting team, but you got to have the other pieces with it also.